by various restrictions you will be able to find irreducibles for all the compact Lie groups. Okay. So this is somehow the master print for the remaining things. Okay. So then this is acting on some, so this the defining representation. Okay, we start with the defining n cross n representation by n by n matrices. Okay. Then we consider, okay, then we consider on, let us say, on Cn. So we then consider the natural representation on the Knuth tensor Knuth tensor power, where a tensor f, say j1 up to j nu, goes into a j1 prime, a j2 prime, a j nu prime times f j1 prime up to j nu prime. This is a transform tensor. The tensor has components where each ji takes on n values. Okay. Then we observe that this representation, so this we can write as, or succinctly we can simply write f of j goes into, let's say, a nu power j prime as a composite notation f for j prime. Okay. Now this representation almost obviously, okay, this is invariant. Okay, this representation commutes with the permutation group. This is the crucial point. So if S is a permutation, okay, so S in S nu, we say SF, okay, of J1 the J nu is f of JS1 JS nu. Okay. That's all obvious here, because this S will simply take one whole matrix, whole component and put somewhere else. Okay. Both the entries. So this is the commutant. Okay. And I told you that this algebra, the group algebra S nu, is the commutant of above representation, above IRR. This exhausts everything. CS nu is a group algebra, which means I take this S and all take out complex linear combinations. That's it. There is nothing more. And this is in this case it is not difficult to prove, but this is apparently a generic thing called Schur-Weil duality, okay, which plays an important role in group theory. But I also showed you, indicated to you, that this duality, this fact that this S nu has a relationship to the GLN, okay, has a deep meaning in quantum field theory context in terms of the relationship between symmetry groups and statistics groups. Okay, I showed indicated to you that this way we are acting with the group on these tensors involves assumptions going beyond group theory. It involves a rule for splitting. It involves a rule for mapping a group element into two group elements. Okay, it involves a co-product. Okay, that's a new feature, turning it into what they call a co-algebra or a Hopf algebra. And then, because there is flexibility in this choice, you will find that the statistics group is also affected. Then, by some other arguments, you can show that it affects the space-time nature of the world. Okay, so this is very interesting. And one of the ideas which we had, but we never pursued it, is that by taking the rotation group for hydrogen atom, so this ordinary rotation group, it is possible to change its way you compose. There is, you can change its co-product, which means that the angular momentum of the two electrons will not be the usual rule, Clebsch-Gordan series of individual angular momenta. Something else will come. That will change the selection rules for decays, because the selection rules of whether the excited level can go to a lower level is given by this Clebsch-Gordan series. Okay. So that can be tested experimentally with high precision experiments. So that is something we thought of doing but never got around it. Okay. But now I want to look at this expression here. Okay. So we choose appropriate E in this CS nu and consider EF. Okay. This is invariant by GLNC action. So this way we reduce representation. Reduce the above representation. So this is a simple generalization of what we did for regular representation of a Lie group. Okay, where we use the right regular representation to reduce the left regular representation. Okay. So what we do is the following. Okay. Let me see how it is written. Reduction of rank nu tensor representations of GLNC. Okay. So what we do is step 1, write down the frames for S nu. The permutation group is what is playing the role. So example, nu equal to 3, there are 3 frames. Then second step is the following: write down the standard tableau for these frames. So the standard tableau will be 1, 2, 3 for this one. Then here you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. So the numbers increase from left to right and downstairs. Then you have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let E be the associated QP. Let E equal to QP for each of these tableaux. P is the sum of the horizontal permutations including identity. Q is the sum of the vertical permutations including the identity. For the reduction of the permutation group, we used PQ, but here I use PQP. It is a convention, but this is what, as I said last time, Werner uses. Okay. Then we know what this is. Then EF, okay, spans 2, 3. EF spans, okay, this tensor. Okay. So the various components, this is a vector with many components, okay, spans an IRR. I will show you how to find the dimensions. Secondly, okay, same frame, okay, different tableau, give equivalent IRRs. Different tableau give different frames. Give inequivalent IRRs. Okay. Furthermore, 4. Okay. The direct sum on E, okay, of EF is F. This vector space, okay, E acting on C to the power of, it was Cn tensor nu, is Cn tensor nu. That is, we are actually writing, we get therefore the full vector space decomposition. So these are projected, but why I am writing like this is E's may not be normalized, but that is not very important. In practical case we can check. Okay. So let me look at an example. Yeah. Yeah, this is okay. Example, for nu equal to 3. Okay. So let me look at this one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I want to look at what is EF, J1, J2, J3. Okay. It is completely symmetrizing the indices, so it will be F to this I want, what is this tensor? I look at this component, so it is totally symmetric, no? So I will write J1 J2 J3 plus F J1 J3 J2 plus F J2 J1 J3 plus F J2 J3 J1 plus F J3 first J1 J2 plus F J3 J2 J1. Okay. It is this big thing. Okay. Second will be, I want to know what is this 1 2 3. I want to know what is EF J1 J2 J3. The rule is first symmetrize, then anti-symmetrize. Okay. So I first symmetrize in 1 and 2. This is F J1 J2 J3 plus F J2 J1 J3 plus I anti-symmetrize in 1 and 3. Okay. So I anti-symmetrize. So it will be minus F J3 J2 J1 minus F J2 J3 J2 J1. Right. Notice that this is, okay, this answer. Okay. So first symmetrize, then anti-symmetrize. Okay. The result is not symmetric in J1 J2. You lose it. For example, if I exchange J1 J2, you get J2 J1 J3, J2 J1 J3. If I exchange these ones, I get J1 J3, where is J1 J3 J2? If I exchange these two, there must be one where J3, what? I first symmetrize.
In the first two.
Huh?
Yeah, symmetrize in the first two.
J2, J1, J3. Then I anti-symmetrize in 1 and 3. So 3, 2, 1. Then 1 and 3. 2, 3, 1. If I exchange 1 and 2, I get J1, J3, J1, J3, J2. It's not even here. Am I right? It's not even here. So it has no symmetry at all. Okay. I'll check it out. It is not here. Okay. You may, by the way, if you are doing relativity, the Riemann tensor with all indices lower, it has 4 entries. You may know or you may not know, it has the symmetry of this diagram.
Yeah.
You know that, right? So this device is very useful. Okay. Then
So you can get that rule from an argument like
this is what is done there.
this.
How it happens for the Riemann tensor, why the symmetry arises, this I do not. Some of the symmetries I know why it happens. For example, anti-symmetry in first two indices, last two indices I know. Okay. Then it has some symmetry when you exchange both. Okay. That I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why. There must be some good reason, which maybe Penrose and Rindler's book discuss. But I don't know. I know that is the case. But how to see that it has to be the case, I don't know. Okay. Then I want to see this one 1 3 2. So here EF J1 J2 J3 is equal to F J1 J2 J3 plus F J3 J2 J1 minus F J2 J1 J3 minus F J3 J1 J2. And finally here this one okay. This is a totally antisymmetric representation. Okay. So all even permutations, so EF J1 J2 J3 is equal to F J1 J2 J3. Every transposition gives an extra minus sign. So if I exchange these two, okay, I get F J1 J3 J2. Okay. Then I move J2 to the first position, so it is F minus F J2 J1 J3. When I exchange these two, I get a plus F J2 J3 J1. Okay. Then I put J3 in the first position, so it's plus F J3 J1 J2 minus F J3 J2 J1. Okay. There should be 3 minus signs, 1 2 3 3 plus signs. Okay. Now if you look at this, okay,
if there's an overall factor,
there is a normalization factor.
that doesn't matter.
Of course, when you, if you want see these are if you want to normalize, that is if you want E square to be 1, E square to be E, then you have to put I'll get those factors. You have some projection operator. So you just, in this case I think it is 1/3. In the first one is 1/3. The other two are 1/6 if I am correct. Okay.
1/6 to the last one.
Huh?
1/6 to the last one.
So let me call these things E1. Okay. Call this E2. Call this E3. And call this E4. Then you can check explicitly that 6 E1 plus 1/3 E2 plus 1/3 E3 plus 1/6 E4 on F is F. Okay. So you have to balance the different. Let me check this is correct statement. Yes, correct. But you can just check. For example, look at this term. Okay. So 1/6. Well, so 1/6 is how much? Is 1/3. 3. It's obvious, right? Okay. The only thing you may wonder is whether the certain things cancel the negative things. That you can check. They will cancel because. So then this will be the decomposition with all the correct coefficients. Okay. So this will be the the projection of F in each of the subspaces is as given here. Okay. Now this gives us the broad reduction, but we would like to know more. Okay. Namely, we would like to know the dimensions of the irreducible representations. This is for us many times the most important thing. The dimensions of IRRs. Okay. So the rule is the following: given a standard tableau such as, let us say 1, 3, 2, okay, associate a standard index diagram let me call it SID to it, this one J1, J3, J2, okay. Here to it, okay. Then so is J1, J3, J2, then I should be careful, I should say standard, so associated index diagram to it, okay, not a standard. Okay. I should say an index diagram is standard, so we call it SID, if the if there is a small change of rules A, the numbers do not decrease along rows, B increases along columns. Okay. Do not decrease, so there is a change in the rule, and increases is fine. Okay. Okay. For example, okay, for each I will give you an example. Each standard SID, we have a standard tensor component I should not make mistakes. Yeah. Let me EF J1, J2, J3. Okay. This is so. Let me give you examples, because this is the part which can be very confusing. What am I doing? Consider example. Consider n equal to 3. So we consider GL3. What are the standard index diagrams? For that one, okay, J1 for this one 132 R, you will find 8 of them. Why? One, 2, 1, 1, 3, right? Then I can start with 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2. Then I can start with 2, but I can have 2 here and at 3. Then I can have 2, 3, 3. So how many am I getting? I should get 8. Am I getting 3, 9? 1, 1, 1. Here I have got 1, 2, 1, 3. 2, 2, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 8 here, no? What am I missing? 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2. Where is 1, 2, 2? I forgot this one. No? 1, 2, 2, yes. 1, 2, 2.
1, 3, 3 also.
1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2.
And 1, 3, 3.
1, 3, 3. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 1, 3, 3. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. There are 8 of them. Okay. Then the claim is, then this vector, okay, EF, okay, with components okay, EF, okay, J1, J2, J3 equal to EF first one. Okay, for example, it will be J1, J3, right? So 1, 2, 1, right? This is J1, this is J3, this is J2. Okay. So this component, then EF, this will be 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, etc. This is a whole tensor. Okay. This, so this is some combination of the take any F and do this. Okay, you get a big column vector. Span and IRR, okay, or dimension equal to number of standard index diagrams. Okay.
When you say column vector, how do you order them? The dictionary?
Doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
That is an indexing problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and the group is acting on these indices. Okay, so you don't care about that. Okay, so number of standard index diagrams. Okay, so this here 8, here IRR dimension is 8 because we have 8 standard index diagrams. So what happens is the following. Okay. So I should note the following. If J, where is it? If this one, okay, J1, J3, J2. Here, suppose I take any diagram, okay, is any index diagram, not necessarily standard. Okay. If I look at EF, okay, J, but this E is coming from that diagram. This is a linear combination, if you like, psi j, j prime times EF j prime summation on j prime, okay, where j prime is standard, okay, j prime is standard. So, in this subspace, every tensor in the subspace can be expressed, the whole column vector, this is a basis. So, the EF J, where J is standard, spans the subspace projected by E, okay, right. So, where psi, by the way I should say, psi j j prime belong to C independent of F. So, simply some linear relationship, okay. So, EFJ, J standard span the image E C to the power of Cn to the power of nu.
So the J's span the support of the representation.
Sorry?
The J's span the support of the representation. The space.
J is an index set.
No, I mean, yeah. So different standard index diagrams correspond to basis vectors in the representation space.
In the one irreducible space. Okay, that whole column vector. Of course, the component of F is what I have been working. So you have to assemble EF. Take any F. F is simply an element of this space. Okay, where we are labeled in the components by something. You took anything, take anything you like. You know? Apply E. Then that what you get can be expressed in terms of the standard S, okay, and for if you want a basis, really a basis, okay, I should say S is span, not what you have to do is to choose a basis for this space here and project, okay, then you will get 1 0 0, that kind of thing, then everything can be written in terms of that. Okay. I have written for any F, okay, to indicate that this is the minimal thing that you need. Okay. Let us look at the example. So this is the combinatorics. This is a lot of combinatorics. Okay. Let us look at the example. We want to consider u equal to 3, n equal to 3. Okay. So here, so let us look at dimension of C cube tensor 3 is 27. 3 into 3 into 3. But now let us look at this dimensions of irreducible subspaces. Okay, 1. You look at 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this one here, we have to write the standard index diagrams. We found it to be 10. Oh, no, we didn't write it, no? We are 10. Okay. So I should write standard index diagrams. 1, 2 is completely symmetric, no? So it will be 1, well, it is, the numbers should not decrease. So is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 2. I am going to get confused. There are 10 of them. So let me copy. Yeah. So I don't write orderly way, I will definitely lose things. Yeah, the idea is the following: 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1 this way. It's good to do this completely. 1, 1, 3. Okay. Then you write. You start with 1, 2, 2. Then I write 1, 2, 3. Then I write 1, 3, 3. Right. And we started our game with 2, 2. Let me see. The first entry in 2 is 2, 2, 2. Yeah, right. The second is 2, 2, 3. In the last couple of 1, 2, 3, 3. And then you have 3, 3, 3. Okay, 3, so get 3, 7, 10. So the dimension is 10. So this irreducible representation is of dimension 10. Okay. You already saw 2. This diagram 1, 2, 3, you already saw standard index diagrams are 8. Okay. Is just the position of the J1, J2, J3 in F will change, but the diagram, I mean J1, J2, J3 will be numbered exactly by the entries we had earlier, but what was J2 before will be J3 now and so on. So the number is 8, okay. So dimension is 8. Third is this one, 1, 3, 2, is again dimension is 8. Then this one, 1, 2, 3, there is only one standard index diagram, namely 1, 2, 3. So dimension is 1. So the total dimension is 27, and what we have got is 10 plus 8 plus 8 plus 1. Yeah. So this is the reduction of this 27 into 1, 10, 2 8s and 1, 1, and these 2 8s are isomorphic representation showing the multiplicity of the occurrence of the representation.
So do you usually write them twice?
Huh?
Do you usually write them twice? If you
Yes, yes. I mean, if you are only interested in the irreducibles, classification of irreducibles, then you are not, you simply write the standard, not even these things. you simply write the frame. Okay. Then you will have some rule for counting the dimension. By that can be done by putting this standard index diagrams. Whether they correspond to J1, J2, J3, it doesn't matter. Okay. You count them and you find. Okay. There are combinatorial formulae, I think. Okay. Instead of going writing them so explicitly, there must be combinatorial formulae for these objects. I think it is given in Boerner, but you can do it. In most practical cases, we are not interested in GLN C for n going to infinity and so on. Normally we are not. Okay. So we can do it by hand. That's what normally I do. Physicists in calculations do. Okay. But if you are doing Clebsch-Cordens, for example, you might have often the case where you want to take the tensor product of some two quark representations, and you want to know how many times an 8 occurs, okay, of SU3 occurs, then you need to know the multiplicity. Okay. So it may occur once, it may occur more than once. If you know angular momentum theory, there are the so called Racah coefficients. Are you aware of Racah coefficients?
You mentioned them once.
If you take three angular momenta, J1, J2, J3, so you take three angular momenta, J1, J2, J3, and you try to couple them to a given total angular momentum J. Okay. It happens that you can do this in many different ways, inequivalent ways. Okay. So the multiplicity of J in the generic J1, J2, J3 is not 1, it is more than 1, and how that multiplicity occurs is very important for people doing atomic physics or nuclear physics and so on. It's absolutely important, okay? Because that will tell them how a certain process goes, which are the branching rules which are going into various things, okay? Various possibilities, because these are three different particles, so it will tell you branching ratios. Okay? So that is very important. So one needs to know this also. Okay. Okay. Now we have to do some activities with GLN further. So this is what the rule is. Okay. Now, theorem. We want to know why. IRS of GLNC from tensors of different rank are inequivalent. So for every tensorial subspace, okay, you get a different set of irreducible. Okay, that's because for this object here, A tensor mu, there is no relation on the A's. Okay, is homogeneous and of degree mu in the components Aij. What does it mean? There is no relation. These are simply matrices with no conditions on A's, except that the determinant should not be 0. Okay. So what I mean this is Ta tensor to the nu is T to the nu times A tensor to the nu. If you do SUN and so on, you can't do this multiplication, because if A is unitary, T times A is not unitary. Okay. And so, and tensors with, well, matrices with different homogeneity degrees cannot be equivalent. Because for one nu I have this, another nu I have something. Suppose there is some interfering operator that won't depend on the A. Okay, so if I scale them, you will find different probabilities of T on both sides. So you are done. Okay.
So this is only true in GLNC.
It's only GLNC and GLNR. This argument will work for GLNC and GLNR.
So you're saying that if I place conditions on
A's.
Yeah, if I place conditions on the A's, then the tensors can be
They can, not can, will become equivalent. Okay. We will see how it happens. I will use these extra relations in when I start writing the representations. Okay. Here I am now going to gather all appropriate finite dimensional representations of GLNC. Let me call them as polynomial representations. I think that's what they are called. Okay, or GLNC. Then work with them to get all the representations of compact Lie groups. Okay. Now, so we can classify these representations okay, by partitions okay, lambda 1, lambda n okay, of S nu for any nu. Okay. We don't need, note, I can cut it here. I mean these indices can be very large. This is a partition. So lambda 1 is larger than equal to lambda 2 is a partition of S nu. But n, note, if I take a thing like this, K positive will give 0. Why? You will not get anything by, so what will happen for these, we have, that's why I cut it at n, okay. A column okay, will have columns of length larger than n, right. So for example I will get a column like this. Okay, so this will be say 1 2 to n plus 1.
No, you can't write, it cannot decrease.
So that's it. There will be, and they give 0 because if I put two same indices by antisymmetry I will get 0. This is and such tensors are 0 by antisymmetry. Okay. So I have a whole lot of representations, but now okay, similarly we can find IRs from this representation, the complex conjugate representation. Where A goes into A star. Right? We forgot about it, but we should. But then I do the same construction with A star, giving a class of representations mu1 up to mu n. Let me put a star to indicate their complex conjugate representations. Okay. This is a notation where mu I, summation mu I, is some other number is equal to some other mu prime. There is no relation between that nu prime and this nu. Okay. So now we have IRs. Lambda, let's say lambda 1 up to lambda n, tensor mu 1 up to mu n star. The implication is not that if I take C n and take n for tensor product, this representation will occur only once. That is not true. Okay, but this is one of the representations which will occur, and the multiplicity will simply give the same thing again and again. So we are not bothered about that now. We are only focusing on the IRS. Okay. Now there are also more representations. We also have. Sorry?
The adjoint representation.
They are here. Adjoint, what do you mean by adjoint?
Transpose. Aij goes to A divergent AI. I'm just guessing because
I am thinking whether there is nothing more you can do, because no, it will be simply the adjoint representation will be contained in this set here. Okay. Because one is A
J1 prime
is A dagger, no? So it's actually tensor product A, the representation, the complex conjugate, it is here. Adjoint representation is contained in the representation and the complex conjugate reduced. So one acts on left by A, the other with A star, A dagger. A dagger is A star. Okay. So it's a tensor product of the representation and its complex conjugate. Okay. So it's contained there. So it is here. Because I have taken the whole thing here. Okay. There are also, but I want to conclude. We also have the determinant representations. Okay. What are they? Let me call it delta p, where A goes into determinant A to the power of p. Then I have determinant of q to the star. A goes into determinant of A to the power of q, where pq can be anything.
What's the star for?
There should be a star here. Okay. So we have a whole lot. So we have